So guys, when we're setting up our camp, we have certain knots that we use to make it easier for us to pack down, and also it makes it more practical when actually setting up, because it's more than just another hand knot. So the first one we are going to use, I think is termed as the Evenk knot. So you'll see me do this. It's a very, very simple, quick release knot that holds around the tree solid for you. So guys, the second knot I'm going to use is a taut line hitch. So I'm just making sure my ridge line is going to be straight. It needs to be quite tight, but this knot actually does help tighten it, as you'll see when we go along. Now unfortunately the cord that I use for my ridge line is too long for this setup, but it's better to have more cord for your ridge than less. So I can keep going around now and just pulling this tight either way. And then what we do is we do a couple of wraps around the actual ridge. So 3 wraps around the ridge, and then we put a quick release, just a bite loop in there, to make it a quick release as such. So guys, the next knot I'm going to tie is something called a prusik loop or a prusik knot. Now generally it's a climber's knot, however it's very useful when setting our tarp up in bushcraft. So what we need to do is we create a loop here like so that goes behind our ridge line. We then go through the loop like so, and then we loop back around and through again. So we've effectively gone through that loop twice. Now we tighten it up a little bit, and then we often need to just sort out the loops, because if one of the loops is on the inside it won't work. So certain loops need to be certain places, that's all I'm saying. And as you can see, that holds when tension's put on it, but when it's not, it can slide.
Watch me steady, yeah. Watch me with such a quiet sincerity. And yeah, hold me heavy, yeah. Hold me like I was born to be held. And the light comes in here, yeah. Morning, my dear, and the restlessness of arms. And we lie here long, and our words were ours that will never be harmed.
So guys, what I've done here is I've cut a couple of fresh pieces of coppiced hazel. Now we're going to make a couple of tent pegs because I need some for the back of the tarp setup. Now what I've done here is I've cut a little slot with the saw to help with the notch. It just makes it easier when creating the notch, that's all. So we're going to use a couple of different cuts and a couple of different methods to make these tent pegs effective and reusable. So what I'll do is I'll show you that now. The couple of cuts we need to do, first of all, up the top here, I'm going to chamfer the edges. Now what that does is it means that when we baton the peg into the ground, the edges won't split and fray, and obviously then you can reuse it. So to do that, just take our knife. Now we need quite a close-up grip on the knife here, and what we want to do is use a thumb push cut just to start to take the edges off like so. Now it's really easy, very controlled cut. You can do it at the tip if you like so, or you can do it right at the bottom of the knife closer to the choil. And all that does is just stops the ends splitting when we baton the wood into the ground. So that's all you need, just a little bit around the outside. Now the next cut we want to do is for the notch. Again, it's just going to be a push cut. As I say, I've already cut the notch part into the wood, so it's literally just carving it out like so. Makes it a lot easier for you to get the notch right. And then we also need to put a point on it. Now this cut's a bit different. The grasp is reversed as such, and we're using your back to flex out and take more of the wood off. Now this cut's really good. It allows you to take a lot more material off than it does with just a standard full hand grasp or anything like that. And we just need to point that edge, not too much, as it will dull anyway if you make it to like a really sharp point. So that's just the tent peg there for you guys. So guys, as you can see, we've got the tarp shelter set up here for you, and just in case you are interested, this is a Pathfinder trail tarp that I've got here with the poncho set up for it as well. It's a really nice PU coated or maybe silicone impregnated tarp, but it is nylon, so again you don't want to have it too close to a fire. So what we're going to do now is I need something to sit on. I've got quite an innovative way of making a seat, so I'm going to show you that now, and then we're going to get a fire going. So see you in a bit guys. So guys, and here it is, the Hessian sack chair. Now what we've got here is a large Hessian sack with 2 holes cut in either end and a hazel bough slotted through there with a decent thickness on it. Now we've also got a tripod that I made, and then all we've done is bunched all the Hessian together at the top, put a loop around it and tied a loop in this arm steel and loop that over the tripod. Now what that gives us is a nice comfy seat to sit on when we're in the woods, and it's not much to pack. Now obviously you can get these in a nylon hammock chair style form, which is called the jungle chair I think, and I will probably get one at one point, but this is a more traditional method of doing it. And also the Hessian sack can be used for other things, you know, you could carry firewood and so on in the Hessian sack. It could also be used to filter debris out of water and so on. It could also be used to leach things like acorns and so on in a river if you were living out in the woods for an extended period of time. So guys, what we want to do is make something called feather sticks. Now these are very easy to make. It's just made by feathering wood essentially with your knife, but it's a very good method of helping to create dry tinder as you're using the inside of the wood, which is often the driest part. So what we need to do first of all is batten these down. Now you can see I've got a stump here. Now what I tend to do is just quickly flatten a bit out. This stump's quite rotten, but that doesn't matter. Just need to flatten a bit out. Helps us create the work surface for us there. So now what we do is just split these down. Now we're going to split these into quarters and then feather them. So Usually if the grain's pretty good on the wood, you can often just twist it and it'll split right down for you. Again, safety is priority, that's why I've got this stump, and also you don't want to split into ground, you'll chip your knife. It's just not worth the hassle. Just find a stump close to camp, or take one back with you if you can carry it, if it's a cross-sectional area cut. Now, so what we want to do with this is get above the piece of wood. Now this has a slight pith in it, that's fine. And we want to use more of the weight from our body than we do pushing down with our arm as such. Want to try and keep a good edge on it, so that a good sharp edge on the wood as such, so that you can do some good feathers like so. I tend to just cut these off once you're done. You can make them easy to use, but you can keep them all together and make fire that way. So again, now depending on what you do with your knife, depends on how the curls come out. But that can be covered in another video, separate video for this if necessary. And we can just keep going until we've got some decent feather sticks. So guys, I've got my jute twine just prepared down here. Now we've got a base of some twigs down here to help give us some airflow, and also a good bed of embers. Now we've got our feathers here as well. So once the jute twines are light, we'll go straight into the feathers, and then we've got some smaller sticks here as well, and some quartered sticks down here. So let's see if we can get this going. Using charred amadou, it helps you get a ember a lot quicker. So you just need to pop that into the jute twine now. Took a bit to get going there guys, but we did it. So just let some of those take for us now. So guys, at the moment instead of a tripod I often use a squirrel cooker. Now it's a very versatile bit of kit, you may have seen me use before, and it looks like this here. So we've essentially just got two iron bars. Now this one's your stake, goes in the ground, and this one's your actual hanger bit as such. So you have a pot hanger right here, and you also have two spikes. Now this is pretty much a pot hanger and a frying pan. Now although you can't cook things like eggs or an omelette on this, pretty much any meat you can cook it on the forks here. So it does save on weight from that point of view. So I'm just gonna put it over the fire now. I can never remember which way it goes. So it's just going to go over here and find a bit where we can pop it in the ground nicely. Now that should do right there for us. Going to let the fire die down a bit, and then we'll get a brew on the go and some food. So I will see you in a bit, guys. So in here we've got some rice on the go, and to it we're going to add some Neolithic fungi and some peppered beef jerky from the Jerky Shack. So I'm just going to open this one up. Now with the jerky, good thing to do is just tear it into small strips, as it rehydrates in there, same as the rice and the fungi will do. There's a buzzard or something playing about somewhere. Now I've also got some water on the go for a brew in a separate mug, so I can have a coffee after my meal. It's a really good, easy, simple, quick carry meal, this one. No fuss, no mess. So that's the jerky in, and now we've just got the fungi. Now these are spiced with juniper berries and sea salt, and this one's got, it's oak smoked jerky with black peppers, salt and a bit of cayenne pepper in it. So I've got some good seasonings in there for a start. Now I'm just going to quickly lift this off to add the fungi in. And give that a quick stir in a minute, and we'll leave that on there to simmer for 10 minutes to quarter of an hour. So I'll bring you back when that's So let's try this one out. Wow. Honestly, buy some from the Jerky Shack and try it yourself. Absolutely incredible. The amount of flavour in the stew is just something else. So I've got my brew now, just a nice black coffee. I've got a couple of new sugar cane bars, just like a chocolate chip flapjack kind of thing. And what I absolutely love to do is dip in the coffee. It's the way forward, definitely. So guys, what I wanted to say was, you can feel the change in the weather now. You know, I've got a wool sweater on, keep me a bit warmer. The air temperature's dropping. The weather is getting a bit more windy, a bit more rainy. The cold is starting to come, and the leaves are starting to turn on the trees. And we've also got a big harvest of various fruits, berries and nuts and stuff. So I will be showing that in some more videos at some point soon. However, I really do encourage you to get out at this time of year and practice your skills, hone your skills for winter. Otherwise you're going to spend a long winter stuck inside because you don't know how to look after yourself outdoors, or if you do go outdoors and you don't know how to look after yourself, you may end up, you know, in a really bad state. So I really advise you to just come out and practice firelighting, your shelter setup, some primitive skills, bit of foraging, bit of medicinal plants and so on, and just learn. So anyway, I'm going to sit and enjoy my nice brew, and then I'm going to get packed up. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. So guys, I've packed away and everything's all sorted around camp. The only thing we've left is the marks in the fire pit, as this is a permanent camp for me. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a little bit from it as well. I really encourage you to go out and practice, even if you're an experienced bushcrafter, or even if you class yourself as almost like an expert or whatever. The basics are the ones that keep you alive, and you need to practice them. And also the basics are the things that actually, when it comes down to it, make you a good bushcrafter, and you can definitely tell the difference between someone who keeps on top of all these skills that they're learning constantly to someone who's just, you know, read them in a book or so on. So thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, guys.